I was the learner, now I'm the master. God, I'm getting the Star Wars quote messed up right now, but oh well.
The
That was fair.
become the teacher.
You should do the Misconnections voice.
The Misconnections voice.
What is the Misconnections voice?
Okay, I'm imagining it as like, you know, the really creepy old guy from Family Guy, the neighbor.
Hi.
Yeah, something like that.
Where are you at? Where's the paper? Where's
Yeah.
the paper? Bring me the good news.
Yeah, except that it's like, I don't know.
Tyler, maybe you should just do that voice for us, and I'll just use it.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, we are recording. We're burning the day. Well, it's nighttime, so we're not burning the daylight oil or whatever they call it.
Midnight
oil.
The nightlight oil.
Nightlight oil. We're burning Google time. This is time. Edit all this out anyway.
Go ahead.
All right. Hello, listener or listeners. This is Fuck.
Oh my god.
Cut that.
Ted's gonna be done with the peanut butter any second.
Cut that. All right, here we're back. We're back now. Hello, listener or listeners. First and foremost, happy Tuesday. This is Tuesday Tunes, a podcast brought to you by the Radio Roadies. And why Tuesdays? Why tunes? We're going to get all into that. We're going to figure all that out. But first, the voice that you're hearing belongs to Tyler Holland, small town dude from Ocala, Florida, land of horses, now a native of Long Island, one word, New York. And I am your host for this episode. And I'm not alone. I am joined by two wonderful people who I will introduce to you right now. The first is a host of her own podcast called The Angry Girl Music of the Indie Rock Persuasion, taken from the wonderful movie 10 Things I Hate About You. Classic. And as the name of that podcast suggests, it's about feminism and minorities in the scene. They are the forefront of discussion on that podcast. And without further ado, I would like to welcome Amanda Starling from St. Pete, Florida.
Hey, everybody. I am from Florida like Tyler, but my land is surrounded by dolphins and not horses.
From St. Pete, Florida. What the fuck?
Hey, everybody. I am from Florida like Tyler, but my land is surrounded by dolphins and not horses.
Hold
What
on.
is happening?
Oh my god, what is going on?
Whoa, wait.
What is going on?
I am from Florida like Tyler, but
Hold on.
my land is surrounded
Wait.
by dolphins.
Did you hit play?
No.
What is happening?
That was so funny.
What the fuck just happened?
It was like God just like spoke to us.
Why did
It's
that
because
happen?
by accident I hit the mouse and it started playing what we were.
All right. Jesus, sorry about
That
that.
just scared the shit out of me.
That won't happen again. I think, Amanda, you should take it from I just threw it to you. Probably the easiest way to edit that.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. I am Amanda. I am also from Florida, but unlike Tyler, I'm not from the land of horses, but instead of dolphins in St. Petersburg.
Yes. Talk about your podcast. I talked about it briefly. I gave a brief synopsis, but let these listeners know what your podcast is all about, just in case they want to listen to that too.
Sure. I am the host of Angry Girl Music of the Indie Rock Persuasion. It is usually about an hour-long podcast, comes out once a month, usually the first Monday of the month. And basically what I do is I invite guests from different sectors of the music community to talk about their involvement in music and how feminism relates to them, or how they are seeking to better improve the community itself. So, for example, I've had the keyboardist of a band, Binary Heart, as a guest. Her name is Erica. And I've also had a nonprofit founder for mental health and music. Her name is Sheridan. So those are the kinds of people that I have on my podcast, and they are incredible people. Give it a listen.
Yes, and you play a lot of music that I necessarily haven't heard. So, and I love being introduced to new music, which is what this is all about. More on that later. But I want to introduce the second guest of this podcast, who happens to be the keeper of my heart, the thing that pumps blood into my body. She's just a lovely person, one of the most selfless people I've ever met, and everybody welcome the Long Island native Rebecca Weinberg to the show.
I'm coughing. Introductory. I'm just getting over bronchitis, so if I cough, I'm sorry. Hi.
Hello, listener.
What do you want to know?
Side note: she has a. We're all about getting ourselves too busy around here. We like to be a part of different projects, and she has a project in the works that involves punk rock and cupcakes, bakery. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. Well, I love to bake and I love music, and doing both of those things at the same time makes me very happy. So I came up with the punk rock bake shop. It's basically these bars, whatever, inspired by songs, albums, artists in punk rock. Like, what's the best one, for example? Like the best named one.
Oh, you did a play of the Velvet Underground.
Oh yeah, the Red Velvet Underground. Haha.
What are you naming your donuts?
Ramonas. Yeah, so if you look up the hashtag the punk rock bake shop, you'll see some of my stuff. And I also photograph live shows, concerts. So you can also look up the hashtag shows I photo, and you'll see a ton of my stuff.
Yes. And I think I speak on behalf of Rebecca, and I want to say this publicly, that we want to thank Amanda Starling for being the shining star of the Radio Roadies.
You should sing Earth, Wind, and Fire right now.
if I could, I would. If I could channel my Earth, Wind, and Fire. Maybe later. We'll see what happens. But Amanda, you're doing a wonderful job, and the Radio Roadies would be nothing without your hard work and everything you've done, including your podcast and your album reviews and everything you do. Very passionate. You can't teach that, and you got it. And thank you for that. And
God, you're being very sentimental.
I mean, I feel like I have to give you some kind of like love response now. It's like I love my NYC babes now or something. Like I have to give you something in response. But thank you for all of that.
Tyler's on his period right now.
Yes. Yes, I'm a very cards out type of person. So
it's a sentimentality of recording again.
Yes, definitely. Speaking of which, everyone here, we used to be a part of another publication.
40 episodes. Boom.
Where we podcast. Long story short, it didn't work out. Things were, there were different mentalities, creative visions that were just different. And with the Radio Roadies, it's a project that's in its infancy, and it's all about creating a music community of like-minded individuals where we put the artists, the bands, the people making the music as the primary focus, as opposed to benefiting off of them. I'll just leave it at that. And if Rebecca and Amanda want to interject with anything, that's what the Radio Roadies is, and it's building. And again, thanks to Amanda, it is what it is. And we've already garnered a lot of respect amongst the underground community, which is our goal, which now leads us into this podcast, which is another example of us putting the artist first. And, up until last year, albums would come out on Tuesdays, and now they come out on Fridays.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It is what it is. It's not like I can change it, but after Monday, and Mondays for the, a lot of us aren't very kind. And Tuesday was like, oh, we survived Monday. We were rewarded with listening to new music. So this is our attempt to keep that alive. And
we're taking back the Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday tunes.
Taking back Tuesday.
Those of you who use Twitter and Instagram, let's create a hashtag.
Yeah, Tuesday tunes.
We're all about community here.
I'm gonna snap right now.
Snap it. So hashtag Tuesday tunes. Let's bring it together. And basically, the format of the show is we hope to every Tuesday bring everyone in. Follow other people, and if you want to join us, you're more than welcome to. More on that later, but we want to talk about music that maybe you don't know about, maybe you only heard a little bit. We're here to aid you in that, and it's definitely one of my favorite things to do in life. Like, I love introducing people to new music. I mean, Rebecca, how many bands have I introduced you to that you didn't know about?
Oh, a lot.
It's my favorite thing. It's and that's what this podcast is all about. We're going to come at you with new music we think you should know, music that we're currently obsessed with. And that's how it'll go. And there'll be less of us talking, more music going forward. But for our first episode, I feel it's important to know where we are musically, sort of where we're at with music and how, and our music history personally. So, Amanda, if you don't mind going first, give us a brief history of how you got into the music you like now and where you currently stand with music. If that is able to, if you're able to do that, I know it's a lot.
Okay, I'll try to keep it as. Oh, I'm reverbing a little. Hang on. Okay.
Oh.
I'll try to keep it as concise as I can. But in short, my first love was probably Huey Lewis. And I've seen him so many times that it might rival the amount of times that Rebecca has seen Dave Matthews. But anyway, my rock and roll and pop and kind of even a dark chapter of country music have kind of shaped me into somebody who really enjoys a lot of different types of music. I love indie, I love punk, I love emo, I am all over the place. The kinds of bands that I've been digging a lot lately are along the lines of everything from everything I've been digging lately has been along the lines of two-piece Dog Party all the way up into emo like sounds like Dikembe. I generally gravitate toward anything that's fast pulse, high energy, and something I can feel some emotional, mature weight to it as well. Speaking to that is Signals Midwest, but you will hear more about how much I love all these bands later in this podcast.
Yes, fantastic. As a tease, why don't we just go ahead and tease the bands that you're going to be talking about and the releases now, later on. What are you going to be talking about?
Sure. I'm going to be talking about 3 really great bands, Dog Party, Signals Midwest, and I have to give a special amount of attention to my favorite punk rock celebrity, Chris Farron.
Yes. Now we'll throw it to Rebecca, who will give us her musical history and where she stands on music now.
Well, as Amanda mentioned, yes, I've seen Dave Matthews 28 times, I think.
Let's call it 30.
I love Dave Matthews, but I have a pretty broad spectrum when it comes to types of music. I am a hardcore brand new fan since I was a teenager. I love them even more now. I loved that whole scene. Them, Jimmy Eat World, Yellow Card, even Dashboard Confessional. When I was in high school, it was a big, it had a big impact on my life and my musical, I don't know, personality.
Like the early to mid 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge 90s fan. I love female-fronted bands of the 90s like Hole and Veruca Salt. And I love Third Eye Blind. Their first album is like one of my favorite albums of all time. Nah, I love 80s. I love the original emo, the 80s, The Cure, Joy Division. And then I also love Led Zeppelin. So, yeah.
And you admittedly do not, I don't want to say you don't follow new music.
Oh,
but,
we're going to call me an asshole now.
hey, not my words. But
no, I'm teasing what I'm talking about right now.
Do it.
I'm teasing missed connections, not the Craigslist kind. And that's all you need to know.
The less creepy kind. Awesome. Well, I guess I'll go now. So my dad at a very young age kind of brought me up on classic rock, blues, very guitar driven stuff like ZZ Top, Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan. And that has kind of been the foundation through my life. And then after that, I was born in the mid 80s, so I am a 90s baby, as Rebecca mentioned. So, the 90s, that time definitely introduced me to a lot of different kind of music. What's up, Ted? And that's our that is our almost
Baby.
10. Yeah, he sounds like a baby right now, but that's our almost 10-month-old little pit bull mix. He's saying hello to everybody and making it hard for me to talk. But the 90s introduced me to a lot of different kind of music because that's probably one of the only times where all kinds of music was good, like from pop, hip hop, rock, even the country music. Like the 90s was where it was at. Maybe that's just me saying that because I was a 90s baby, but it's hard to look back at another decade and pinpoint that occurrence happening. And I would say the grunge before punk broke out, part two, Green Day, Bad Religion, Rancid, Offspring, when all of them sort of came into the mainstream, really had an effect on me. All the angsty, energetic music hooked me in. So I was pretty much into that whole scene, Blink-182 later on, throughout middle school, early high school. And then it's kind of cool to see that type of music is being brought back. There's a lot of a lot of people call it emo revival, which brings me to my next point. I don't really subscribe to a certain genre of music. Like I wouldn't call myself like a punk or a metalhead indie dude or whatever these. I kind of like float in between those type of things, and I don't like to put walls around my musical taste. I like to be pretty open, and from that, I really enjoy bands that you can't really put into a specific genre, and this is all the bands that came out in the early 2000s, like Thrice, At the Drive-In, Circus Survive, Coheed and Cambria. I knew, a lot of these bands fit under the blanket of post-hardcore, which to me, I think is just a term used to put bands in a category that you can't necessarily throw in a genre, because it's just a vortex of musical genres and influences. I'll say Thrice and Brand New's sort of music evolution throughout their career has really influenced me to seek music diversity as I've gotten older. Lyrical content is less meaningful to me than like dynamic sounds and musicianship. I like sort of avant-garde, like odd time signature kind of musicianship now that I've gotten older, which is kind of strange because I don't play an instrument, but that's just where I'm at. And I'll end my rant soon, I swear. But obviously, music that does both connect with me musically and lyrically. I like my stuff to be melodic in nature And as I stated before, if it's melodic and it's very guitar driven, I'll probably be into it. So that's where I stand. That's where I'm coming from. And that's enough about us. Let's get into what we all know and love, and that's music. And am I going first? Is that how it works? I feel like I just talked a lot. Amanda, do you want to go first?
Sure, I can give you a little break. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, so what we're kind of getting into now is a little bit of our discussion of different bands that we've been listening to. Since this is our first time that we're going at our Tunesday, we're going to kind of talk about either songs or albums, EPs, whatever has come out recently that we're all like really jazzed about. So for me, I'm going to talk about first this lovely duo named Dog Party. They are out on Asian Man Records. I believe this is their 5th album. And I can tell you that it's a 2-piece. There are 2 women in it. One is literally just going off to college for the first time. I believe she's 18. The other one is 21, 22. And to have that many albums underneath their belt is beyond astonishing to me, out of anybody. Mike Park, the founder of Asian Man Records, has repeatedly discussed how incredibly brilliant these 2 are and what they're producing and their capability to write that many songs from being young teenagers all the way up to the present that are so incredibly catchy, rhythmic, intelligent, and just outright brilliant is almost to the point where they could be prodigies in that sense. They produced their new album. It is called Till You're Mine, and it's a really well-written album. They have everything from really great, smashing, garagey sounding pop punk all the way through to stuff that sounds a little bit indie and experimental. It's just really well written. It's been out for about 2 or 3 weeks. As soon as I saw it was out, I pre-ordered it, and I've had it spinning on my record player almost nonstop. Just really well written stuff. Make sure you check out Dog Party out on Asian Man Records. And I am going to recommend that we listen to the song Oh You Know.
Sweet. Fantastic.
I tried to be Rebecca and go fast.
Yeah, that was a nice job. I'll try to do that. Now, we're going to take things in another direction. The first band that I'm going to talk about is a band called Helms Ali, and they recently released their 4th album, Still Aside, which came out on September 2nd. They are a 3-piece band from Seattle that have been making waves since 2007. The name is a nautical term for a sailboat maneuver, fun fact. And the band consists of dual female and male vocalists, actually 2 female vocalists and a male vocalist, coming from bassist Dana, drummer Ho ZG, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and guitarist Ben, respectively. They make avant-garde, like heavy music. It's difficult to put in a specific genre. And this album builds upon their already kind of like heavily diverse music. Ho ZG, their drummer, who I spoke about before, really sold me on this band. When I first heard of them a couple years back, just her thunderous, blistering attack of drums just it sold me. And she definitely commands an album. You listen to their releases, and you're like, first thing you think of is, you're blown away by the drums. Their new album begins with a piano-driven intro song that really is the calm before the storm, before you're taken under with some heaviness. The second track is called Untoxicated, and they barely let you up for air, just continuously hitting you with the heavy, occasionally letting you up for air with a few softer tracks, almost kind of floating into indie territory. Really diverse stuff here. Every part of this band's music arsenal is excellent. Lots of sounds, and from just a 3-piece, it's hard to believe that there's only 3 of them. The male and female vocals is a nice touch, and what can be a lot of times be a male-dominant style of music. And Ben's ability to switch up between Mastodon the band, or Sometimes he kind of sounds like an actual Mastodon of what I think a Mastodon would sound like. His ability to go from the growling to the clean vocals is very impressive. And let's hear one of my favorite songs called Galloping Mindfuck. And if this doesn't get your head moving, check your pulse. Here is Galloping Mindfuck. I like saying the name of that song, Galloping Mindfuck.
I feel like that's something I'm just going to have to say to people from now on.
Galloping Mindfuck.
Like,
which I think is a very good term to describe the music they make. It just sounds like a fucking horse of music just stomping you.
I also feel like that's something you could like whisper to your partner during coitus. Be like, "Are you ready for a galloping mindfuck?"
That definitely would sell the sexual experience to me. All the while making me scared. But sometimes scared and sexy can go hand in hand.
Some people are into that.
They are. They are.
Anyway, before I derail us any further.
Yeah. Go ahead. Take it away.
Oh gosh, I think it's Rebecca's turn.
All right.
Wait.
What do you mean, wait? We're recording.
I don't really have a lot to say. I'm horrible at new releases, guys.
Talking about Jimmy
Well,
next.
You're on the wrong show.
Why am I invited? Okay, well, back to the worst new release researcher. I've recently been listening to the new singles out by Jimmy Eat World. They have an album coming out called Integrity Blues on October 21st. And their two singles that have been released are Get Right and Sure and Certain. Get Right it's old school Jimmy Eat World. It sounds like something from Bleed American, which is a great album. And I'm very, very excited to listen to the album in full and talk about it then in October.
Well, see, you've already set yourself up. That's good.
So let's listen to Get Right.
Nice.
I was like 10 seconds.
That's
Yes,
okay. You're adorable, so it works.
Yeah. You got a
Wait,
pretty face.
what am I going to say? Hey, there's nothing
No, there's a lot there.
It's Rebecca. It's okay.
It's called ADD.
Since you were so quick, do you want to go again? Do you
No.
want to continue, or do you want
No,
to break it
I
up?
think we
All
should. I like the.
right. All right, Amanda.
Okay. And we're back. Hang on. Sorry, I'm like framing my brain really quick. Sorry about that.
All right. No worries.
So on to the next one. I'd like to talk to everybody about the ultimate celebrity punk indie prince known as Chris Farron. Yes, I gave him a hyped up intro because that is just his style now, and he is not a ghost. But anyway, Chris Farron just released his new album, Can't Die, out on Side One Dummy Records, and I have to tell you, it is probably the most brilliant thing he has released so far. His early projects were more along the lines of Fake Problems, and he has also done some incredible work with Jeff Rosenstock in Antarctica Vespucci. But I feel like with Can't Die, it's the perfect marriage of what he has accomplished in both Fake Problems and in Antarctica Vespucci. Because at that point, he kind of applies some of the funky, kind of twinkly elements of Antarctica Vespucci and kind of also ties in this gorgeous melodic kind of playful energy that he wouldn't also create in Fake Problems. But I would call Can't Die one of the most perfect summer albums. Every song has this contagious energy to it. It is something that you can easily see yourself not only driving around with the windows down to, but you can also cry yourself to sleep with some ice cream, because Chris Farron has this ability to both hit you emotionally, lyrically, and also be able to heighten you sonically. And that's just one of the most brilliant accomplishments that he can do in music. great example of that is the song I'm about to have you hear now. It is called Human Being. It is not only catchy, but it also really drives home his point of, him not being a ghost, but also the sense of finding who he is and really emphasizing reaching for that. So here it is, Human Being by Chris Farron.
Good choice.
Thanks. I love him so much.
He's funny as shit.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I love his Twitter right now. He is like on fire lately.
Yeah.
His social media game is on par. It's very, very well done.
When we saw him at Fest, I was like dying. He's so funny.
I believe that he's gotten a lot of that from Jeff Rosenstock. I think they just hang out so much that it's become contagious.
Yes.
Seeing them together, like drunk at Wrecking Ball playing the Antarctica Vespucci set, they literally did 6 minutes of just like jamming and like making stupid jokes and exchanging smiles like they were truly in love. And I believe they are. So.
Love is in the air.
Yes, especially between those two.
Yes.
Oh, it's my turn again.
It is your turn.
All right. So there's this band from the UK. They're called Moose Blood, and they put out an album a couple of years ago called "I'll Keep You in Mind from Time to Time," and it was actually compared to being a mixture of Brand New's Deja and Tendu, as well as some other emo bands from the early 2000s. And their new album is called Blush, and it's awesome. It's definitely more mature than their prior album in sound and in lyrical content, and I think that they're probably touring it now. I have no idea where, if you want to see them.
There's something on the internet and Google.
I could look it up right now and waste more time.
The listener can do it, yeah.
Look it up.
Look out. It's just somehow, somewhere, at some point in time, Moose Blood is on tour.
DIY their tour. And yeah, there's a couple of really awesome tracks from Blush, like Sway, Shimmer, one called Freckle, and I think we're going to hear Sway right now. And I think everyone will like it, because I do. And I'm a music snob, and everything is good that I like.
It's Rebecca approved.
Rebecca.
We should get t-shirts.
Rebecca. All right, I guess I'll do my second band now. All right, I'm gonna switch things up again. My goal every week is to have 3 different types of genres of music to talk about, and I'm gonna go to the genre that hasn't been spoken about yet, and that's underground hip hop. Many of you have probably heard of Atmosphere. If not, they are a 2-piece hip hop group from Minneapolis, Minnesota, consisting of DJ producer Ant, as in Anthony, and rapper Slug. Can you hear Ted?
Yes.
Shit.
Okay.
That's just the dog.
He's just a baby. It's okay.
Yeah. And rapper Slug. His real name is Sean, but his rap name is Slug. These guys are one of the pillars of the underground hip-hop scene. They have made a career out of being known as, quote, emo rap, with their introspective and personal raps. They recently released their 8th album. That's right, 8th album. They've been around since the late 90s, so they've been relevant for a while, and they continue to stay relevant, which is not always easy to do. And their new album is Fishing Blues, which came out August 12th, and is another stellar release for this veteran hip-hop group, showcasing why they have built the reputation that they have. If you're looking to branch out and delve into underground hip-hop scene, which is, there's a lot of mainstream hip-hop that kind of borrows certain elements of the underground game, but they are two very different scenes. You know, a lot in lyrical content and musically as well. A lot of hip hop. Now, you know, like Drake, stuff like that is very much just like pop music. So if you're looking to get into some actual real hip hop, delve into the underground, and I would recommend, you know, any of the 8 albums from Atmosphere. But this album's a good start. There's a lot to enjoy. Let's hear the catchy, twangy "Won't Look Back." The hook of the song is sung by Kim Manning, who has worked with people the likes of Snoop Dogg and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And she's also an actress. She was on the Bernie Mac show. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac.
Oh yeah, 24 Bernie Mac's dead.
Bernie Mac is dead. We live in a world where Bernie Mac is not alive. Yeah, it's rough. I try not to think about it. All of these fun facts that I have will continue. I mean, I'm a man of fun facts. But let's hear "Won't Look Back" from Atmosphere.
Great job, Tyler.
Sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try to make sense.
So we're gonna do Amanda, you, and then I'll end.
All right. Well, no, I want to do throwback last, if I can, because my throwback is sort of a misconnection, and I want the audience to know what a misconnection is.
Okay, fine.
All right. So, Amanda,
All
you
right.
would do your
So now that we're transitioning again in sound, we're going to go back toward the Midwest. And by that, I'm referring to the lovely Signals Midwest. To be honest here, they are my favorite band on the planet in the history of ever. They are the perfect blend of indie, alt, punk, emo. It's really hard to place a genre category on these guys, and I will no longer try because they have literally surpassed everything that they have accomplished so far musically in their third LP named At This Age. I actually have to tell you that this is not only musically the most astonishing release that they have done, but lyrically as well. It's a literal artistic tussle of confronting maturity, reflection of your past, coming to terms with the emotions and memories that you've faced. And Signals Midwest has accomplished this perhaps to the most significant depth that any other record has done before. They have really put a lot of intricacy in this album, and not only has it felt musically in the sense of heavy drumming, very tightly written bass lines, unforgettable guitar, but we also have a special touch to it. The album was produced by Evan Weiss, also known as Into It Over It, and you can really feel his presence in the production side of it, because not only is the sound so much more crisp and clear than it ever was before, but you can see where there was communication and some really great feedback that went into producing this record. One of the most powerful songs, and not only to my opinion, but also to the lead singer Max Stern, is the song Alchemy Hour. Consider it the St. Vincent charity of At This Age. It is heavier, it is musically more experimental than anything Signals Midwest has put out yet, and I am going to have you listen to it now. So listen to Alchemy Hour by Signals Midwest and check out my album review on theradioroadies.com.
fantastic plug.
Might as well. I kind of rambled,
definitely.
so I'm going to trim that a little.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I listened to that album and it's pretty awesome.
Oh, I'm in love with it. I can't stop.
Yeah, their guitar player, like, they're pretty tight. Like, I mean, they've always had cool, like, riffs, but, like, this new album just has so many awesome ones.
They pushed
that
it
just
to a
dance
new
around.
level.
Yeah. And like you said, working with that Evan Weiss guy, whatever he's doing, it's working. So.
Oh no, Evan's like the ultimate indie emo genius. So to have his touch on this album literally just made the ultimate mark on their ability to produce music, and I feel like it's going to be an impression less going forward.
Yeah. I didn't realize how. I mean, I know he's a busy guy, but I mean, he's like worked and collabed with like a lot of people.
Oh yeah, he's
Busy
been
man.
to like Jeff Rose's bubble quickly. So, all right, is Rebecca gonna misconnect now?
Yes.
Gonna misconnect.
So I am honestly like the worst player at New Music Friday. I have like terrible ADD and I'll listen to something and I'll become very, very obsessed with it. And that's all that I want to listen to. And nothing else matters, even all the new music that comes out. So I like to call I like to call this Misconnections albums edition. And hold on, I just lost my thought. Okay, I like to call this flaw of mine, or maybe not a flaw. I really don't know. Misconnections albums edition. I have a habit of discovering and falling in love with something usually like a year later after it's released.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky. In this case, this is 5 years late because I've been very obsessed with Frank Turner's England Keep My Bones, which came out in 2011. And I became so obsessed that I frantically bought the album on vinyl, and I've been listening to it, and I've been playing it on guitar, and I've been pretending that I'm like Frank Turner's illegitimate sister because I feel everything that he feels, and I love him. I think that he's I don't really listen to him. We saw him recently at Coney Island. He opened up for Flogging Molly, which we did not see. We just saw him and Chuck Reagan. And his show sold me. Like I saw his show and I was like, I need to listen to all of his music. Like I need to learn about this person. And that kind of set me off on this month-long obsession Frank Turner listening spree. And I just really love this album, England Keep My Bones, so much. I feel like Frank Turner has really interesting things to say. And I think that every single person in the world can relate to the things that he sings about. Plus, he's like folk punk rock, which is, in my opinion, like the best punk rock, except for Bouncing Souls, because they're, like Bouncing Souls. And they're not folky at all. So I think I really want everyone to hear, which track? I love them all. I Am Disappeared. Yep. Let's hear I Am Disappeared. And that's it. Misconnection.
Wait, I'm gonna say something, but I gotta figure this out.
Ted's acting like an asshole right now.
That's okay.
Go back.
Bear's curled up
We're
like
lucky
an actual baby right now.
You're so lucky.
He is worn out because he played with puppies all evening.
That's what we need.
But I will vouch for you, not only because I love you, but there's a lot of music out there, and it's hard to keep track of stuff.
5 years later?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of Frank Turner before. Never seen him live. This is my first time seeing him. Always heard great things. He lived up to those great things. But I didn't really listen to a whole lot of his albums. But he was always under my radar. But you get caught up. There's so many things to listen to. It's hard to keep up with everything, which is why we're doing this podcast.
Misconnections.
We're helping you out, or that's why we're doing Misconnections.
I really feel like if we met, we'd be like, oh my God, you're one of the soulmates that exist in the world of mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, he definitely seems like a cool dude. And if you haven't seen Frank Turner yet,
do it. And get right down in there, right in the crowd, in the middle of everyone.
Even if you don't know who he is, just anytime you see him in your area, go. I mean, what do you have to lose? You're gonna have a great time.
You're probably gonna get some hugs also.
Yes.
From a stranger.
He had everybody. If anybody's ever been to like a metal show or a punk show, sometimes they do it, but they have everybody spread. Go split you down the middle. Have half people go to the left, half people go to the right, and you run into each other, and it's called like a wall of death. But Frank did the wall of hugs, so he had everybody run into each other and meet in the middle and hug each other, which was pretty awesome.
It was a moment.
It was a moment for sure. So moments like that. Go see Frank Turner. And I guess it's my turn, right?
Yep.
All right. So on that note of misconnections and there being a lot of music and you got to catch up. Every week I want to bring like a throwback album, an album that has came out in the yesteryear that maybe you probably haven't heard of. But in this case, this band, they're called Cave In. They're from Boston, and they came out in they've been around since the mid-'90s, but they didn't really start getting notoriety until the early 2000s. They were part of the new post-hardcore wave that came out with Tunesday and Thrice, Glassjaw, bands like that, but at the drive-in. But they kind of got overshadowed by these bands, and not a lot of people have heard of Cave In, but they were very much a part of that. And the album that I'm talking about is their album Jupiter. It was released in the year 2000, and it's way ahead of its time. If you listen to it now, you would think it came out last week or last year. It's their third album, and it marks a change for the band, as their previous releases were incredibly heavy. Really heavy, not for the faint-hearted, intense. So instead, on their third release, they decided to go a more alternative, melodic style of music, and I think they're better for it. And then everything going forward had that same sound. And basically, the best way to explain it is it's like a heavy, early Radiohead sound. Guitarist, vocalist Steven Brodsky, who can scream with the best of them, relies more on a clean, almost Brandon Boyd, the singer of Incubus, style vocals. The guy showcases a lot of range on Jupiter, and he's the driving force of the band. Really a multi-talented guy. The more I read about him and his other projects that he has, which I'll probably bring to light on further podcasts, but basically how Rebecca felt about Frank Turner is how I feel about this guy. And he's a misconnection for me, the whole band, really, because I've only really got into it a couple years ago. But they're fantastic, and they are an influence of Thrice, which is my favorite band. So that's all you need to know there. Anyway, upon hearing this next song, you'll see why Thrice sees them as an influence. And without further ado, let's listen to Big Riff from Jupiter. I completely love the drums in this song. It almost has like a tribal sound to it, and I can't get enough. Love it. Lots of things to love here all around. So let's hear Big Riff. Yay!
Sounds like Ted is tap dancing.
He is.
Being a psycho.
He's a tap dancing dog. We've taught him how to tap dance. Oh yeah, let me mention another fantastic thing about Cave In Jupiter. They have a song on there called Innuendo and Out the Other, which I think is a fantastic name for a song. It's very witty, and that's what I like about them. So anyway, if you want to tiptoe your way into heavier type music and you're not really into the growling vocals, I know Rebecca is not a fan of that. Yeah, I mean, again, the music is fantastic, which I can kind of see past the not understanding the lyrics all the way. But yeah, I would recommend if you want to get into heavier kind of music, but you don't want to dive all the way in, this is a nice transition band. So Cave In, check them out. And anybody have anything else?
I think that's it.
Yep, that's all of it.
All right, so
Plug.
let me wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, yo.
You ate all the strawberry gummies.
I love gummies.
Yeah, but I like the strawberry one.
So this has been the first episode of Tuesday Tunes. We hope to be a part of your weekly schedule every Tuesday, whether you're listening to us in the car or walking around, train. If you listen to us, we appreciate it, and spread the word. If you like us, tell your friends. Like we said before, Radio Roadies is kind of in its infancy, and if you have a passion for music and you want to write about it, talk about it, have a podcast such as this, let us know. You can contact us at contact@radioroadies.com. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We have a Facebook page. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Let's be friends. We'd love to have you. Join us.
Same goes to bands. We want to talk to you.
Yes, bands, we want to talk to you. We want to, that's what being a radio roadie is. We're trying to get your music out there, get your voice out there in any way that we can.
I guarantee I will be your number one fan.
Yes, and with a fan like Amanda, that's a good place to start.
I guarantee I probably won't, but
Don't say that.
But I'm a great friend.
You can edit that out.
No, keep it in. This is who I am. Don't mute who I am.
Don't mute me. Is there anything else that we want to say?
Don't cut that, Amanda. Leave it in.
It's up to you, Amanda. It's up to you. Yes. We love you. We love music. Tuesdays.
The only good thing about Tuesdays.
Tunesday.
Except that new music doesn't come out on Tuesdays anymore.
But
We still have tacos.
True.
I love tacos.
We do. And a lot of the music that we bring up, it might be new to people. They don't know about it.
True.
So it is new.
Every
new.
Tuesday is a new Tuesday.
Well, yes. Technically, you are correct.
I think the Robitussin's getting to me.
Yeah, it does that. Awesome. So, are you happy? Are we all happy? Are we happy? Are we happy people?
We're happy people.
Are we happy? I think we're done.
What else? What should we work on for next time? Is there anything?
I want to bring in a funny segment.
Okay,
A
do you want me to hit
funny
stop, Rob?
Yeah, you can kill the broadcast. Less
Alright.
shit for you to edit.
Alright.
Yeah.
I haven't